Hi, I'm Jake from TradeLab.ai. Today we're going to be talking about how to set up multiple take profit and stop losses in TradeLab. First thing we're going to do is open the My Strategy screen and click on New to create a new strategy to test this out in. You can apply this to any strategy that you're building. First thing I'm going to do is click Save on this new strategy. That way it's saved and we can go ahead and create our lines. So normally when you're creating a strategy, you would set up your trade amount, your order type, make sure you select your symbol and all of that. You would also set up a take profit and a stop loss. Normally you set one take profit and one stop loss. You can do this relative off of the entry price using percentage, USD, or coin. So this will create one take profit and one stop loss. And whenever these lines are hit, the trade will fully exit. So whenever the stop loss is hit, it'll exit. Whenever the take profit is hit, it'll fully exit. So these are the easiest way to set up take profit and stop loss. You can also do it with an exact USD price as well. But if we wanted to set up multiple lines, if we wanted to set up a DCA or a take profit ladder, we can do that with the multiple option. So if we click on multiple, it changes to a button and we can click on the button and that'll pop up the TPSL line builder. So this is a wizard that walks you through a couple different steps to figure out how many lines you want to set up and what type of lines they are. So the first thing we'll do is set up 3 take profit lines. I'm going to go through a couple of different scenarios to show you all the different options and how you can set up take profits. So the first option is going to be super simple. We're just going to set up a very simple take profit ladder. We're going to have 3 lines, and I'm going to define a fixed percentage amount for these lines. So the first thing we'll do is click on take profit. For what type of line do we want to make? Take profit. How many lines do we want? How many take profit lines? We want 3 lines. So we'll click next. So now it's going to ask me, how do I want to place my lines? So I usually select a offset from the entry price. And this is the same way that it works for normal take profit and stop loss, right? So an offset percentage or a USD offset from the entry price. We also have target a profit amount, and targeting a profit amount would say, I want to make $35. Okay. And I would say that's how much I want to make. TradeLab is going to automatically figure out where that needs to be, where that price needs to be for me to make $35 with the amount that I have in the trade. It's going to figure out where that is, and then it's going to place those lines there. Now, if I have multiple lines, the first time that I hit 35, I'm going to take some money out of my position. So the next time that I try to hit 35, it's going to be harder because I have less money that I'm trading with. So this actually sets up an exponential take profit ladder. Okay. Now we also want to set up the space of our lines. So do we want our lines to be equally spaced, or do we want to pick offsets for each? I'm going to give examples for all of these, but the first one I'm going to do is pick offsets for each. Okay. And then it's going to ask, where do we, when our lines are hit, do we want to add the same amount or take the same amount when we hit, or do we want to pick different amounts for each? I'm going to go ahead and pick different amounts for each. So now it's going to ask us, where do we want to place our lines? So this is, what prices do our lines need to be placed at? I told you that we're going to do a fixed percentage for each of our 3 lines. So we'll just do 3, 5, and 9%. Okay, real simple. We do have the ability to do USD relative or even an exact price. So if I had, say, 47,000, for Bitcoin, I could type in 47,000, whatever, and it would set a take profit at that. But I'll stick with my very simple 3, 5, and 9%. I'll say next, and then it'll say when the lines are hit, what do you want to do? So if I was doing, say, a DCA, I might say add to position. But for my take profits, I'm going to say take profit. And now it's going to ask me how much do I want to take. So here I can say 10%. Let's say for the second one, I'll say 50%. And for the last one, I'll say 100%. Now, if I do 10% of the position, then I have 100, I take away 10%, that gives me 90% left. That 90% becomes 100% of the position, of my new position. So then when I take 50% of that position, that's 50% of the 90%. So I end up with 45% left. So instead of taking 60% here, 10 plus 50, I took 55%. And that's because I was doing it from the position, from a percentage of the position. It sort of compounds, right? Now, if I wanted to say 10% and 50% and have that be 60%, like you and I both know should be correct, then we want to do a percentage of original amount, right? So that's 10% of the original amount, 50% of the original amount. Now I'm left with 40% of what I originally started with, right? So I could, at the end, say 40% of original amount, and that would close the whole thing. However, sometimes the orders may not get 100% filled. You might have some stragglers. So just to be sure, what I always do is I say 100% of the position, and that will close it completely. 100%, no matter what's left in the position, it'll get rid of it, right? So that's how we do that. We'll go ahead and click next, and it'll ask us what type of order do we want to place. So for take profits, I usually do limit, and for stop losses, I usually do market. You can also do a stop limit if you want. It's totally up to you. I'm going to select limit for my take line, and it's going to ask me what do I want to name this line. I'm just going to leave it as the default take line, and I'll press finish. And here we are. We have 3 take lines, and we can see that it's set at 3%, 5%, and 9%, and it's going to take 10%, 50%, and 100%. All right. So let's go ahead and set up a stop loss real quick. If we click stop loss, and how many do we want? We just want 1. So where do we want to place the stop loss? I want to place the stop loss, say 4%. Now notice I don't need to do a negative 4% or anything like that. I can just type 4 and it'll take care of it. Doesn't matter if I'm doing a long or a short, it'll take care of it for me. Okay. Click next. When the line is hit, what do you want to do? Again, I want to exit when the stop loss is hit. So I'm going to hit take profit. So that's going to allow me to exit. And how much do I want to take? I want to exit, so I'll do 100% of the position, right? And that'll be a complete close. So I'll click next. What type of order do you want to place? I like to place my stop losses as market, so I'll click market. And what do you want to name it? I'll just leave it the default stop line. So I'll click finish, and now I have a stop line that's set at 4%, and it's going to decrease the position by 100% when it's hit. Okay. So now we have all of our lines set up. I can click save. And if I open this back up, we'll see that our lines are still there, ready to go. And so that's how we set up our multiple lines. Real simple example. Here we could leave this at 0 for our stop loss. We've already set it up, so we could just leave it 0. Or we could just select multiple, and they open up the same thing. This is all connected, right? but we've already set up our stop loss, so we don't really have to worry about that. Okay, so let's talk about some more advanced examples of setting up take profit lines. So I'm going to remove these. Just click remove all. Actually, before I do that, let me just show you, if you click quick edit, you can easily edit all of the fields without going through that wizard, right? So if I click simple view, it'll read me what this looks like, and it's real easy to understand. If I click edit, it'll actually open this back up, and I can go through each of the steps, and it'll allow me to set that back up. Okay. If I want to edit it quickly, I can hit quick edit, and this will allow me to go through all of those fields without going through the steps. It's a little bit cluttered, so I wanted to make it nice and simple for you guys. But if you want to edit it quickly, this is a great way to do that. Okay. So now let's talk about some advanced options. So if we click remove all, I'm going to remove all of our lines. That'll get us back to no lines. If we click on add, it'll walk us through the setup again. So let's do a take profit ladder. And this time I'm going to do, say, 4 lines. And for my 4 lines, each of these lines are going to be equally spaced. So I'm going to do an offset. And these lines are going to be, we're just going to do 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so I'm going to do equally spaced. And when the lines are hit, how much do I want to take? Well, I'm going to take the same amounts for each of my lines, just to make it simple. Okay, so real simple here. I'll say I want to do 2. And for my offset, I just want to do 2. So I can actually do 2 and 2, or I can leave this at 0. And I would have 2, 4, 6, and 8. Now, if I wanted to do 2 and then have an offset as 3, then it would do 2, and then it would do 5, and then it would do 8, and then it would do 11, right? So this can set the first line, and then the offset sort of sets the offset past the first line, okay? I'm just going to leave this as 0. So we got 2, 4, 6, and 8. All right, so I'm going to click next. When the lines are hit, what do you want to do? I want to take profit. And how much do you want to take? All the lines are going to take the same amount. And I want to take, say, 25%. So I have 4 lines, so I'm going to take 25%. So when this is all said and done, I'll have 0 in my position. Okay. So we'll click next. What type of order do you want to place? I want to place a limit order for these take profit lines. And I'm just going to leave it as take line again. So now I have 4 take lines at 2, 4, 6, and 8. And each of them are going to take 25%. Okay? For our next example, we're going to pretend like we're receiving information from an alert and using that information to set up our take profit. So the first thing we'll do is go into our alerts tab. We'll click the plus button to add an alert, and we'll name this test alert. All right. I already have an alert template set up for us where I have take 1, 2, 3. So we're going to use this. You could easily click add field and add your own fields in here for take. But this is what we're going to set up. So we'll just press save. And now we have a test alert set up, okay? We'll also go into variables, and we're going to create a variable for each of our lines that we want to set. So I'll set a take profit 1, I'll do a take profit 2, and I'll do a take profit 3, okay? And each of these are going to be a number, and we can leave them as 0 for now. Go ahead and press the check mark on each of them to save. And now we have 3 variables. So if we go back to our edit, we can go down to our rules. We can click on our rule, and let's pretend like we're getting an alert, and the alert is a buy alert. So I'll just pretend like I have my type, and the type says buy. Okay, so we're getting a buy alert. So in our buy alert, what we want to do is we want to set our variables for our take profit. So we'll press an action. We'll create a couple of actions, actually. The first action we're going to create is to set our strategy variable, take profit 1, and we're going to set it as a reference. So we'll click this reference field, and this is going to allow us to set this to our take 1. So this is the information that's coming from the custom alert. Okay, so the alert is coming in from TradingView. We set that up. It's going to send in take 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to set that information to our strategy variable, take profit 1. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for each of our other variables. So for take profit 2, we're going to set this up as a reference field, and we'll do take 2. So again, take 2 is the field that I typed in when I was setting up my alerts in the alert tab. Okay. And once again, we'll do a set and set strategy variables. We'll do take profit 3, reference field, and this will be take 3. So now I have take 1 being set to take profit 1, take 2, take profit 2, and take 3 is being set to take profit 3. So now that we have those variables set, let's go back into our configure TPSL, and let me show you how we would use these. So I would say I want to create a take profit. I want to create 3 take profit lines. And when it asks me where I want to place my lines, I'm going to select an offset, and where I'm going to place them, I'm going to select offsets for each. And where do I want to, how much do I want to take? Are they all going to be the same amount, or are they going to be different? I'm going to say same amount for these. This is up to you. If, for example, we were having information sent to us of the amount as well, we could do the same thing. So I could create 3 more variables for take amount, and I could have that information sent in the fields, and I could save that information from the alert into my variable. So let's pretend that I'm doing that as well. So I'm going to click pick amounts for each, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so where do we want to place my lines? So this is where we're going to hook up our variables. We're going to click dynamic. That's going to change this to a drop down. So here, I'm going to select my take profit 1. So this is my variable. Okay, I want to select my variable. I don't want to select my take 1, which is from the alert. I want to select the variable because that's what's going to be saved. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select take profit 2. And I'm going to select take profit 3. Now, these take profits, if they're being sent from TradingView as percentages, then I would want to select percentage. Most of the time, when TradingView sends a take profit, it sends in the full price. So if this was for, say, Bitcoin, it might send 44,765. In that case, we would want to select USD exact price. And that's going to allow us to use the exact price that TradingView sends us and set that as our take profit. Okay, we'll click next. What do I want to do? I'll go ahead and click take profit. And how much do I want to take when each of these are hit? So again, if I wanted to set up a take amount, I would set up my variables. I would select dynamic here, and I have a take amount being sent from the alert. I already set that up in my alert template. So if TradingView is going to send me take amount 1, 2, and 3, I would want to go into my variables, create take amount 1, 2, and 3, and then I could type in here take amount 1, 2, and 3 and select those. And so I'm going to select take profit here, but this gives you an example of how that would work. So if take amount is being sent as a percentage, then you would probably want to do percentage of original amount. And if we want to close again, we could do 100% of position, and that would close on our last line. Okay, so that's an example there. If we press next, what type of order do we want to place? I'll select limit. I'll keep the default. And now we have 3 lines set up. So that's an example of how we can use these take profit variables. And that's actually going to use the information coming from TradingView and dynamically set our take profits. We could do the same thing with stop loss as well. So we can add a line, create our variables, and set up a stop loss. The last example that I'm going to go through is how to set up DCA. So to set up DCA, all we have to do is select stop loss. Say I want to do a 4 ladder DCA. So I'll say 4 stop loss lines. And what do I want to do with my stop loss? I want to select a offset from the entry price. I want to make sure that they're equally spaced. And I want to add the same amounts every time whenever I hit the lines. So where do I want to place these lines? I want to place them every 5%. Okay, so every 5% I'm going to add to my position. Okay, and I'll click next. When the lines are hit, what do I want to do? Well, I want to add to my position. That's what we're doing with the DCA. And how much do I want to add? Well, let's say I want to double my position every time. So I can add to my position every single time. I'm going to double it. Now, if I double it the first time, I'll be double. If I double that again, now I'm quadruple. So if I only want to double my original amount and add the same amount every time, then I would say 100% of original amount, and that would double it, and then it would add a third, and it would add a fourth, and add a fifth, instead of exponentially doubling. Okay, so now we'll click next. What type of order do I want to place? I always like to do stop market, so I'm going to select market, and what do I want to name it? I'll just say stop line, or actually I'll say DCA. I'll name this DCA, and now I have DCA 1, 2, 3, 4. And now my DCA is set up. All right, so that's how you set up multiple take profit and stop loss lines in TradeLab. If you have any more questions, feel free to join us on Discord. You can also find other videos and support in this help button right here. You can search for your questions or click here to create a support ticket. And that's all we'll cover today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more updates. Have a good one.